Hey everybody, it's Bust with Battles with Bust number 34. Today we'll be playing some LeBlanc Sivir. And so, Riot did announce in the 3.5 patch that Garen, LeBlanc, and Udyr will be receiving reworks in the next patch, the 4.6 patch. That'll come out around the 26th of April if my math was done properly. It probably wasn't. But nonetheless, we have some real nostalgia factors with both Garen and LeBlanc. Both of them have been kind of superstars in the lands of Expedition, and I would like to give them a final send-off in their classic forms. And so we hit on Garen in the previous video, had lots of fun with that one. In this one, we will be doing our final dance with LeBlanc, and we're not going to, hang out with the turtle, pet the bear, roll with the tiger, whatever, whatever, saying you want to say with Udyr. I feel like he's new enough, and I don't have a lot of emotional attachment to him, and so he will not be getting the final send off. And so just these two. So this will be our fade away with LeBlanc, if you will. And this is what you would call the reputation archetype in Expedition. It was a LeBlanc Sivir combo. The kind of the idea that we saw in Expedition with it was you would use a card like Desert Naturalist to generate a Grumpy Rock Bear. That Grumpy Rock Bear has 5 attack. The 5 attack is then used to activate all of your reputation abilities. And so in concept, it makes sense. It sounds like it should be okay, but in execution, it just never really worked. You found yourself having to play a bunch of cards like Hibernating Rock Bear and Salt Spire, and they were just pure garbage. And so the archetype never really kicked off. It also kind of suffered because when it was released, cards like Endless Devout didn't exist, Bomber Twins didn't exist, Treasure Seeker might have existed, but I think this was printed after Sivir. And so it never really got all of these additional cards to help it along with the themes. And so here we're going to get to explore these a little bit more, chase after it a little better, especially now that we get to pick and choose which cards we want to be using. And so this deck, it has like 3 pillars to it, 3 main concepts going on with it. The first thing is that reputation concept, and so we're going to be using the 5 attack units. We're going to get them from LeBlanc and Sivir. Treasure Seeker generates 1. Desert Naturalist generates them with the Rock Bear. Endless Devout generates them out of the Sarcophagus, and then we can use either a Shapestone or an Absolver on our smaller bros like Bomber Twins and Rockhopper to get those 5 attack hits in. And then, if you're actually in combat, you can use things like Whirling Death to perhaps get another strike. And so we do have a multitude of ways to hit the reputation. We don't have tons of reputation cards in our deck simply because they don't exist. We will be playing the Incisive Tactician for a rally, the Sigil of Malice out of LeBlanc. Sigil of Malice is also the LeBlanc flip card. And then her mirror image matters for the 5 attack units. And so we do have like some bits of the 5 attack matters slap reputation themes going on here. Thing number 2 is, as we talk about this format, you find yourself having to either be able to attack through your opponent's units with Overwhelm, attack around them with Elusive, or attack twice with Rallies. This deck needs to go for the Overwhelm passage, right? And we're mainly looking to do that with Sivir. And so Sivir flips. If she has Overwhelm, she'll pass Overwhelm to all of our units. We have Herald of the Magus to give Sivir Overwhelm. We also have the Absolver to give Sivir Overwhelm. Now, the thing that the Herald also does is it kind of cures one of the classic problems we have with LeBlanc, and that if you play your LeBlanc, she has 5 attack, you attack with her, and your opponent just goes, cool, block with Conchologist, right? And you don't actually get too much done. You can even run into these spaces to where you attack with LeBlanc, your opponent blocks with something, and they just glimpse beyond their unit away. Shit like that's pretty annoying because you don't get the strikes in, it doesn't help her level up, and you don't really get to accomplish anything. And so picking up the Overwhelms is pretty important. LeBlanc can be a fairly easy champion to flip, and so the Absolver tends to work quite well. But we do have a lot of the landmark themes going on in this deck to try and activate the Magus of the Herald of the Magus. I keep wanting to call him Magus of the Moon, but I know that's not what he is. Oh, here we go. Here we got Kitty as well. Say, what up, Kitty? Get on there. He says, I want to be on the internets. But no, the last thing kind of going on here is kind of a mishmash of activating the Herald of the Magus and making usage of our champions. The champions do have quick attack, and so One of the things we're always excited about in Expedition was pulling off quick attack challenges, and so we do have the rock hoppers to generate the rolling sands, the unraveled earth to generate them. The landmarks coming onto the board will help us activate our Herald of the Maguses, and then we can use the quick attack challenge aspects of LeBlanc and Sivir. And so, all in all, pretty cool. This is one of our favorite things in Expedition. Let's go ahead and carry it on into Constructed. But before we can, you all know what we have to do. We have to go and turn something premium. And this is going to be the day for Ancient Hourglass. Has some minor combos in this deck. You can use it to reuse a Rock Hopper, reuse a Bomber Twins. You can use it to protect a LeBlanc from a spell. And then it also comes in and helps us activate our... not our Magus of the Moon. Activate our Herald of the Magus. So, nice little card there. We're going to get tons of usage out of it today. And let's go. Let's battle with the old reputation. Such a fun archetype. Like I had such a good time drafting LeBlanc in Expedition. She was just like always just like hard ignore the Shurima aspect of this though. And so it's nice to kind of come back and mix the two together and get a bit of these concepts going. But here, he's playing Pirates. This is a really aggressive style deck. We have to get our early game plays here. So we're looking for our 1-drops, our 2-drops. Didn't find any. Endless Devout Desert Naturalist can do quite a bit of work in terms of catching us back up. Right, you play the Devout, we trade it away, get the Sarcophagus, then immediately blow up the Sarcophagus to generate the Rock Bear. And so if we can get to that point, it'll look pretty nice, but we need to be picking up one of our cheaper dudes here. Just wanted to hang out, didn't you? And say, what up? What up, everybody? I'm on the internet. She's a very delightful kitty. You probably will hear me make a curse word. I'm going to toss her in the floor here in a little bit, and then she will immediately try to jump back up here and claw the shit out of my arms. But she made the jump that time. She's very graceful. Oh, this is bad. This is bad. He's just going to open on us before we can drop the Endless Devout. If we get to, like... Ooh, he doesn't. He plays Misfortune. I'm going to say, if we get to play the Devout and then lose it in combat and Whirling Death something, that's going to be pretty good. But still falling fairly far behind. No, we need our unit to die. Over here, please. Do we ever just take the extra point of damage to kill off the dumb elusive? This is kind of greedy, but I think I'm okay with it. We're just like never going to be able to answer this thing, and so I would like it dead. Fall to 14. Okay. So we get our big recovery turn. I hope we haven't fallen too far behind. But doing the best we can here. Check all my stats, bruh. I feel like we can probably attack with the Naturalist and he won't block with Misfortune. It kind of sucks if he does, because then we lose our ability to block based on the ability coming in. But she's a pretty high-valued unit, so I'm not completely surprised to see opponent not throw a block in front of her. Where are we at with the Herald? Hell yeah, we got one up to this point. That's pretty good. One landmark. It's not very good, kitty, is it? Not very good. Alright. Well, this is unfortunate. We're going to get blasted by Zap. Take 6. Can't do anything about it. Probably dead next turn. We can, like, force him to block some stuff. But we're really going to struggle with this one. Just drop the biggest unit that we can. This also lets us play all of our combat tricks. Right? We can double Shape Stone and Absolver. He's going to be doing like some amount of blocking. Oh, fuck. Okay. That was about as perfect of a card as he could have. But maybe he'll get too greedy with the blocks and we can surprise boom him for 6. Ain't nothing wrong with a surprise boom. Is there, kitty? Ain't nothing wrong with that. Ain't nothing wrong with that.
Why are you here? We live here.
Okay. Okay. Takes him to 3. I like it. Let me play these spells real fast. So what do we have to worry about here? It would be a Whirling Death. So let's double Shaped Stone onto our Sandstone Charger. That would be his premier choice for a Noxus Blast. And now if he wants to bring a Noxus Blast or a Whirling Death onto our Endless Devout, we still have the Absolver to go through here. Think we might have just pulled this one off. Oh man, my emotes are fucked up. No, I gotta fix that. Oh no. Alright, I guess we'll use this stupid one. Who is that, Braum? I guess we'll use that stupid emote. But cool. That was like about as disastrous as the start can go. When like you look at this, you say, okay, opponent's playing pirates, got a mulligan for 1s and 2s and just completely miss. That's a pretty challenging, tough spot to be in. And so pretty glad we were able to pull that one off. That was a very greedy no block from our opponent. And so glad that we could get out of that one. So let's see here. The boards. Where's our Noxus board? Got it. Guardian, need the cat. Easy peasy. Card back. Where's the fist bump? Got it. This is easy. Do y'all know how to do this? No. This is the tough part. We got to get the cat in the top left. Oh, man, I hope you all know how to do it. Garen is a very important one to do. Now, you have to go and get both of the Echo ones, but it's really annoying because they aren't together, right? You have that one Echo one. Where's the other one at? Can't even find it now. There it is. None of that. Gotcha. Heartbreaker goes on the bottom right. And then this is your kind of flex spot with Lonely Poro. We don't use Lonely Poro. I kind of use like selfies sometimes because it's just the most annoying emote in the game. Maybe that's the one we'll go with here today. Go with selfies. All right. Whew. I hope you all got that strategy portion. That's one of the most important parts of the video, right? Part number 1, make your cards premium. Part number 2, ensure you have the right emotes in the right order and everything. We did it. I'm feeling pretty good. All right, are we in normals? What's the deal with the 4 champion special coming at us? I got to go back and make sure we're playing on ranked, but not a terrible start. Herald of the Magus is fairly meh here, but we can pull off some action with this. Okay, and it is a very real question in which of these cards we start with. If opponent doesn't play anything, I'm just going to drop the Treasure Seeker, right? This lets us be a little bit slower with the Ancient Preparations. If we need some landmark destruction to go with it, lets us open with our Treasure Seeker here as well. Eye of the Dragons are seriously problematic. None of these are the removal spells we need. I kind of want to pick up the Unraveled Earth, given that we already have the Herald of the Magus in hand, and we don't have a particularly aggressive draw here. So, have some options to pop this off next turn. Oh, this is bad. The way I always talk about these Eye of the Dragons is the first one is manageable. You can deal with 1 Dragonling coming down. 2 of them is seriously problematic. But let's see if we can't get a good combat here. We have 1 combat trick in the Shaped Stone we could potentially do something with if he comes in and wants to block one of our 2/1s. Losing the Herald really sucks, but let's see what happens. Come on, game. Is it going to crash? Come on, Riot. You're better than this. I've been having it kind of stall here recently, and I've not seen it crash. But I think that's what's going to happen. I'll just go ahead and restart the game. There we go. Small indie company. I kind of expect it, you know. Like, they don't have a lot of resources out there, and so... Let's see here. Let's try and take 1 down. Not going to be ultra surprised if he has a Twin Disciplines. The bad one here would be if he has like a Mystic Shot to take down the Treasure Seeker. Like if he Twin Disciplines, the Eye of the Dragon will just have 2 health, and we can maybe Sigil of Malice it, but Mystic Shot's pretty meh. Okay. Got in for that big 2 points of damage. Feels good. Feels good, man. Sure. that get him the Dragonlings? Yeah. Okay. Let's see what we can do. This has been pretty tough not having any champions. We need a Sivir or something to blast through these dum-dums. He just goes right back up to 20. Okay. And the Diaz. Kinda awkward. Don't really want the Diaz on the board. But opponent's got to chain off some spells now. They're not going to be super happy if we go into the next turn and they aren't generating Dragonlings. So with him playing like a Thermogenic Beam last turn, I wouldn't be surprised to see him have another Beam this turn. Then have this be like a Mystic Shot plus Beam turn or something. Sure. Pretty painful. Pretty painful. Well, I don't think we can pass up on Sivir at this point. I don't think there's any real reason to play cards. Well, we should be trying to, like, this is tough, right? Let's just pass and see what he does. I don't want to lead with the Sigil of Malice onto the Eye of the Dragons. It's just too easy for him to have, like, a good removal spell. I think this looks much better. We can hopefully get him to, like, bait out some cards before we try and drop the Sigil.
You've got a problem, I've got a price.
Okay. So he has played one Twin Disciplines. I'm not exactly sure on the quantities of cards that they're playing. Probably have to worry about a deny here. Not a lot we can do about it. I don't know if they play Nopify. But he's played his second spell. He can kind of freely pass here. I think we have to just go for it. Right, he's not attacking with Victor this turn. Very easy for him to pass and just bank. Yeah, he's going to be the deny. Same thing, sure. Okay. Comes the squad. Do the little to big attack. I guess I should have counted that before we got to Sivir. We're not going to do 17 before it gets to her. Maybe we would with the Whirling Death, but it's not super likely. But we can be in like an okay spot now. If, you know, we have 2 5 attackers in our hand, and we have Sivir on the board that's about to flip. If we can get an Absolver, or if we can draw our last remaining Magus of the Herald, passing out the quick attack Overwhelm to our whole team should be enough to win the game. Okay, so I'm not going to play the Diaz, though. That's like there is some times you'd want to just go ahead and drop it to put that space on the board, but with the 2 Waking Sands, you can't overwrite the Diaz, so I want to ensure that we still have those. Okay. There's the Dragonling. It's taking back up to 1,000,000. It's pretty unfortunate. Impact, sure. Not going to play our Waking Sands. We need those for a win next turn. Poor Sivir. You're so dead, girl. All right. If he's got the removal, we'll just give up on it. Okay. I'm going to say, I bet he does make one of these plays that lets us Whirling Death. We have to block with Sivir to pull this off, but very, very suspect attacking with the Dragonlings here. Again, I think our Sivir is just dead. Right? That's a pretty obvious reasoning in him dropping the Death Ray onto Sivir pre-combat. But yeah, worth a shot, I guess. Okay. But yeah, like I said, that matchup, it can be okay. I think a lot of the time it just comes down to whether or not they're able to get those Eye at the Dragons going. We're not playing enough ways to come in and interact with them to just take them off the board. So if you're playing Get Exciteds or whatever and you can just kill them, that's kind of fine. But if they just get to park those things on the board and life steal you out of the game, you're just never winning. Okay, a little Caitlyn Teemo, huh? So I don't really want to keep Sigil of Malice, but it is one of our few ways to actually take down a Teemo. And this is a real Teemo deck, right? We'll talk about that on occasion as to where decks playing like Yordles and Arms will occasionally play Teemo. You'll see that as like usually Teemo, Lulu, and then Fizz. Doesn't work like that here. This is a legitimate Teemo deck. But we can take him down. Have to sacrifice a ton of aggression to do it, but we can. And they usually don't play ways out of this. Could have some kind of trick here, but not tons of Bandle City P and Z ways to save the Teemo. And then on this next turn, I'm going to lead with Endless Devout. Like, if he banks 2 mana here, plays Caitlyn next turn, and then Mystic Shots our LeBlanc, we're just dead. So we'll at least drop the Endless Devout. It can interact with his board okay. It can trade with Caitlyn, and it can survive Mystic Shot. Definitely want it now that we drew the Desert Naturalist. Sure. Oh, sure, I tell you. All right, that's pretty decent. Lots of stats on board. Cool. All right. Ooh, a Sivir. I was gonna say, do we want to try and get the LeBlanc going? It's like maybe, but I think we're good to just drop Sivir here. I don't think she survives frequently. She's gonna get hit with like 2 spells very often, but there's kind of like 2 things going into this, right? If we drop the Sivir, say he's ready with Mystic Shot, Sump Fumes, whatever, any combination of removal spells, then he's not adding any units to the board this turn, and we're getting the 2-for-1 out of Sivir. And so it's a pretty good deal for us if that's what he offers up. He just played the unit, which is fine. Not ultimately surprised to see that when we have these big boys on board. May have missed out on some damage with the Desert Naturalist, but I think it's still a reasonable hold.
Well, what have we here?
Okay, let's just spew it all. See if he's really interested in attacking into a 5/4. If he does, I'll just block Caitlyn with the Naturalist, but I'm curious if he brings the heat here. This seems like Caitlyn just being a landmark. Okay. Oh, cool. Hourglass. So we got tons of stuff we can do here. This Rockhopper should be decent. He's not in the space to where you really just can't play units. I mean, he might send it back to us. That has to feel pretty bad on their end of the board. If he sends it back, okay, you got us. I'll just overwrite the Roiling Sands with LeBlanc. Perfect. Perfect.
I hate having to put my face on.
I have to assume that she's going to get hit with something, right? She's going to get a Caitlyn shot or a Mystic shot or something, but it seems better than adding an Aftershock. That's very expensive. Seems better than adding like a Bomber Twin, because the times when it goes right, it goes super right. So Oh, want it to look something like... How do we get up to 13? Oh, Sivir is going to be our last attacker. We don't have enough to... There's 14, right? So that should still make the Rockhopper a good attack. Okay. The other option would be to put Sivir all the way out to the right so she gets to try and deal an extra point of damage. I don't think we have enough for that, right? We only have 12, 5, 8, 10, 12. Take her up to 19, so we can't get that point of damage in. At least this way we get to turn the Rockhopper into a quick attacker. Cool. Boom that board. There, we've got all the ladies on the board. Sivir out here making the flips. LeBlanc coming out of the Ancient Tomb next turn. Feels pretty good. Is this an Ancient Tomb? God, I've said so many Magic cards today. Ancient Hourglass into Stasis Statue. We are not playing Magus of the Moon. Our non-basic lands will not be turned to mountains. We are not playing Ancient Tombs. Ramping a little bit, taking some damage. Alright, no overwhelms, but we do have a pretty powerful board for next turn. Doesn't seem like anything's gone right for this dude this game. Being able to take down that Teemo early and such. It's like reasonably tempting to overwrite something with the Bomber Twins. Or no, overwrite something with Ancient Preparations, get the Predict, and then overwrite again with like a Bomber Twins. I think this is fine. None of these cards are what we want. We're looking for an Overwhelm card, so I'm going to skip over this one. We'll just draw whatever we naturally draw. Now we can overwrite the Ancient Prep with the Bomber Twins. Not opposed to overwriting a Rockhopper if he had a bunch of Flashbang Traps in our deck. We only have one Flashbang Trap. If he A, hits it and then his top 8 cards as the top card, and then B, 1 and 6 is our Rockhopper, then you did it. You know? Congrats, my dude. But I think this is okay. We'll leave the Rockhopper on the board. We won't go full all in on the replacements. I guess there's a world where it would be okay, right? If we needed to deal, say, like 9 damage instead of 7. Here, I guess the mathematics don't quite work like that here, but it does have more traps now, but not going to go for that. Hibernating Rock Bear. Why these cards were so bad in Expedition. It's right here. The Rock Bear. Just counting on this thing was so abysmal. It was really tough to pull off, and so you just didn't want to have to do it. Alright, well, here comes a big Spell Shielded attack. He's only got 1 card in hand. It should be pretty... Really? Should have known better. Should have known better. How does this work out? 6. All of these. Let's put LeBlanc at the end. Now, technically, it did drop down to a... No, he put all those Flashbang Traps in with Karina, so there's technically 6 of them floating around in there. But... I guess it feels okay just to kill him with a ricochet, anyways, right? That's that's what it should all be about. Just boom him with the ricochet. What a trap! What a trap! Okay. All right. So who wants to venture a guess as to whether or not this ricochet hits? If he has a unit, if he plays a unit, I don't know exactly how the math works, but we should win most of the time, right? We do a 50-50 a few times. Okay. Alright, we're good. We're good, dog. Get it in here. Rip. There it is. There it is. Getting that flashbang trap. Oh my goodness. Alright, GG, my dude. It probably would have been reasonably safe to just to fill out the board with more units, but that's one of those weird spots to where if he gets to keep adding stuff, we're gonna max out on board where they're not going to, and so they can definitely get more width than we're able to deploy. Okay, man, I did some winning in my life. I know I made mention a few weeks ago with the NCAA basketball tournament and work pools and not going for first place. The way it basically goes is where I work. They have a prize for first, a prize for second, and a prize for last, and it is way easier to get last place than it is first. I've managed to get last place 3 years in a row. Nobody ever says anything about it. But, the way I look at it is you got to have some gamesmanship to it. It's not awesome to just like tank for last in this kind of casual setting. It's not awesome to just be like, oh, watch this. I'm going to pick the lowest seed for every single match. And so I have all the 16 seeds in the final four. That's not clever and cool. That's how you get like the fun taken away, where they just go, fuck you, we're not going to give a last place prize anymore. But the way I always approach it is I just pick all the teams in alphabetical order, and so there are some legitimate contenders in the final four. Unfortunately, my championship winner this year was Abilene Christ, or that was last year. Last year was Abilene Christian, a 16 seed. This year it was Akron, a 15 or a 16 seed. But there were some like legitimate contenders in the final four. I think like, I don't know, Alabama or Arkansas or some other A team was in there. Maybe it was like Baylor or something. I don't remember, but I did manage to pull down last place again, secure that trophy, and get that sweet, sweet gift card. And so, if you follow that bust magic, you might learn a thing or two while you're at it. But man, that did remind me, is like being a competitive gamer for all these years. You have to kind of like pick and choose to where you're gonna bring it, right? I would get pretty upset whenever it would go to like Friday Night Magic and it's the casual scene and there's some dipshit trying to rules law you're the guy that's played the game for 3 weeks. It's like, dude, fuck off. No one needs you to be here. You can just leave. And that's kind of what I felt like with the NCAA tournament bracket. If you're playing with your hardcore buddies that sit around and play all this stuff competitively, then fine. We get it. But if you're in the work pool, have a little gamesmanship to it. Don't just be throwing it all down just to to tank for the gift card. Yeah, that stuff used to be so brutal. I was, somebody rolls the dice and it leans the wrong way. Okay, what else? What else are you gonna say? You say, okay, I guess. The people in there trying to act like they're on the pro tour at their Friday Night Magic. Yeah, that was frustrating. All right, back to the action here. We're gonna have a quick attack challenge onto this Penitent Squire. I was kind of wanting to see what opponent would throw down and what they wouldn't. We're giving them some pretty heavy incentive to not interact with what we're doing now that we played the Sandstone Charger, but he seems willing to trade his Bright Steel Protector for it. We have to get attacks in with LeBlanc this turn, so I'm going to go ahead and drop the Sigil of Malice onto the Penitent Squire. See if we can't get a takedown. A little bit awkward here. These ancient preparations are going to take some time to get going. We need a little bit more boom for a turn like this, but might be okay.
Smoke and mirrors.
So at the end of the day, we'll have a LeBlanc. That's as good as it's going to get. With the blocks like this, a sharp sight will only save his penitent squire, which is fine. So he's going to have a reasonable enough open here. We're probably just going to have to block, but he shouldn't be attacking with the misfortune though. We could still just take her down with LeBlanc. Ooh, Ancient Preparations was the worst draw. Oh, we're so fucked. We're so fucked now. I mean, I guess we can play it. We got to find something real good to put on the top. Unraveled Earth is it. We got to have something. Well, just cycling this isn't going to do anything, though. Alright. Alright, and maybe we could have done that a little differently to where we played an Ancient Preparations on the previous turn. But, man, that feels like we are just so far behind if we aren't accruing any board. But I mean, that was that is nonetheless a pretty awkward draw. It's being like heard there. It's the third Ancient Preparations, and so it seemed like things were going okay. But man, that was a bad one. Okay, on to the old Kindred Vigio. This gets us back to the old classic days, right? The days of just hating on Kindred, playing LeBlanc and hating Kindred. It's a pretty good feel. Ah, man, Kindred used to be the worst to have to play against. He's not that bad anymore. Okay, no Hapless Aristocrat start. That's pretty good for us. We'll go ahead and lead out with the Rockhopper. I want to make a full curve here. Ooh. LeBlanc and Sivir. Looking good. We should be okay to take it down with the 2. They don't have 1-mana combat tricks that'll survive this. It would just be Rush, or it would be the +2/+2 and Ephemeral. Looks good. Sure.
Time to make an appearance. I will play my part.
Take it. On to the next one. Here comes Sivir. Such premium. God, look at that. Look how much premium's on that board right now. That feels good. Got these gold borders on here and stuff. That's pretty choice. And we got some ephemerals coming down. That's kind of lame, but our attack's still good. We can do a Twin Disciplines onto the Soldier to take down LeBlanc, which would be pretty horrible. But we gotta risk it. Now, do we play towards a Whirling Death? We can Whirling Death in combat here to boost a LeBlanc, which I'm kind of okay with. Let's drop the Treasure Seeker. This will give us some protection from the Kindred ability. Now, ooh, this is tough. Like I want to Whirling Death the Kindred, but let's just let this happen. Man, these are all going to be reputationed real fast. But there is a bit of reason to play the Roiling Sands in combat. Probably not a great one here, but we got the Vulnerable on the Spiderling. That's kind of cute. Kind of cute. We ever add these Waking Sands? It doesn't seem that great here. We could wait for an Overwhelm with our Sivir. But the Sivir hit will flip our LeBlanc. Feel like opponent's about to do something lame. I feel it in my bones. It's about to about to do something lame. We could have hooked in that spider. I got to looking at that. Excuse me, at that little ability thing a little late, but oh my gosh, he's bringing in Kindred. That's a bold move. Is he gonna go for the Twin Disciplines? Spirit's Refuge, sure. So let's use a Sigil of Malice here. Well, it's gonna cost the same as a Whirling Death. We should probably just use the Sigil to have a variety of removal spells. We're not going to run out of mana anytime soon. Ooh, that's a LeBlanc one. Let's not spend that. All right. Looking pretty good. Now we just need one of those overwhelm things. Everything will be all right then. Now this does get slightly awkward, right? If he plays another Kindred, we don't have the 2 burn spells to take it down. There is an argument to want to come in and use the Whirling Death there, but didn't go for it. The Tactician. Huh. Okay. Give me that reputation. Cupcake it. The proper way to do it is to go for the cupcake. So if we hit like this, that will give us an additional thing, whatever this is. That'll give us the mirror image. Let's hook little bro. Well, everybody's going to have quick attack, right? I think this will be fine. Oh, Sivir's not flipped yet. Shit. Oh, she'll flip on her first strike. Okay. Trauma hardest to punt it out here. So we missed a point of damage, right? We could have flipped that back around. I guess we pick up a mirror image this way, but... Alright, let's get a bunch of shit on the board. Ally with 5 power. Sure, we'll copy Sivir. Seems like a good copy. Oh, so much reputation happening here. Looks pretty good. Oh no. Oh no, is he gonna kill our Sivir? That's something a lame person would do. I mean, it's gonna take quite a bit of work. He's gonna need like a Vile Feast and a Vengeance or something, but... Okay. I think this is the first time in my Legends of Runeterra career I've ever played Incisive Tactician. Alright, he's letting us do it. Comes the squad. Vigio, sure. He's expensive. I did the mathematics on that. He costs a lot of mana. It's hard to fill out your board when you're playing expensives like that. Okay. Waking Sands. Ready for battle. Alright, let's fuck him up. The only thing that matters here is I want this ephemeral Sivir to be last. So if he interacts with our Sivir, everything else will still have the spell shield quick attack until the ephemeral one hits, but if the ephemeral one strikes and dies, then everything to the right of her will lose the abilities. And so, looks pretty good to me. Boom. Ripperino, my dude. God, that's how you get the big reputation right there. Right there. GG. All right. Do you all remember when Trump the gamer and not the president in Hearthstone hit a legend with all of the pre-made decks? That was a thing. I don't remember if he did it with all of them. I'm pretty sure he did it with all of them. But some of those were god-awful. I don't think you could probably pull that off anymore. Like, that was back right when Hearthstone came out. And, people weren't as good. They didn't have the collections. There weren't as many resources to just go and grab the popular decks and such. And so It's still no small feat to blast your way through. And then that was also the time when there wasn't a floor on the ratings, and so like whenever you would hit, they're on like the gold, bronze, platinum, whatever system now. But back like even here in Runeterra, how it's like if you're at 0 LP Diamond 4 or whatever, you can't fall back into platinum. It was before that, so you could conceivably lose a bunch and then lose a bunch of ranks that you would have to again remake. But you did it. Rip, got him. Counting it. It counts. If you look in the tracker, it's going to count that as a win, and so take it where we can get it. Look at that. Definitely got to 4, not falling below 50-50 this week. Good job, LeBlanc. Both you and Garen carrying the good win rates these days. Way better win rates than you see out of Teemo Caitlyn. Better win rates than you see out of Zillion Echo. That's pretty good. Getting all the LPs. Let's see what we got here. You don't see much. Yeah, you don't see much Malphite these days. Him and his buddy Chip, his son Chip. It's Chip Malphite's son. Is that how that works? I think he calls him Dad. It's not a weird sex thing. It's a father son biological thing. Rock biology. That's a thing, right? Is rock biology a thing? Is that just a geologist? Can you be a rock biologist? Huh. I mean, I guess is a rock biology. It doesn't have a. It's not an animal. It's not like a cell. It has. Huh. Oh man, I got some work to do on Wikipedia later, I guess. Yeah, it reminds me of one of my most favorite XKCDs. They did the math on, I forget like the numbers, but if it was like for everyone to know about something, it has to be like one in 10,000 people don't know about it or something. But at the end of the day, he did the math and determined when. Determined how likely it would be for someone to know something, and then it just kind of moves on to the pop rocks. And so, kind of the joke being that, oh shit, hang on, I'm getting in line with the jokes here, and then we're just kind of losing our Sivir. That was. I was just like, we're just gonna have the quick attack. This will be okay. And then we in fact did not have quick attack. And that makes it makes it a little painful. Interesting. We're just opening next turn. I'll pull up on the old Google the XKCD. I'm sure that's illegal to do. Illegal, illegal, not illegal. But yeah, let's get this stuff down this turn and then just open. We're not going to drop the Magus before we attack. Desert Naturalist looks pretty okay. Does that change our opinion on opening? I bet it does.
If it was important, they should have built it better.
I don't think they have ways to stop this. I guess you could play that Rite of Negation, but shouldn't be able to stop this. Why didn't we... Are you fucking serious? We don't get the thing? God, this game's stupid. Okay. This is a fucking abysmal now. Okay. He's gonna get a rock bear next turn. Why didn't we get the thing? There was the space on our board. I don't know. Whatever. Need a champion now. Get some usage out of this Herald of the Magus. I feel decent absolvering here. Like the big thing that we do with the absolver is give Sivir the overwhelm. And if we're gonna play the Herald of the Magus to have her have, ooh, we're not gonna have the champion count though. Right, you have to destroy the landmark. We can't play him until next turn. Okay, well, if he hooks in the Clockling with the 5/4, we can Sigil of Malice it down. I think I'm okay to just put the Rockhopper here and then do an Ancient Hourglass. I want to be able to play a boosted Herald of the Magus next turn, because we have to have like something to do next turn, right? It's not like ultra exciting to be adding this dum-dum to the board, but it's really not exciting to just play him as a vanilla 4/4. Can lead with Bomber Twins, though. I don't think it's going to change anything, but we can at least see what comes out. Say, what up? It's Malphite. It's not Malphite. So, I mean, this could be okay. I don't want to be attacking into anything here unless we're just going to win the combat. Because now if we're going to give our Sivir +2/+2, she's probably pretty close to flipping. If we can build up the board and give everything the quick attack overwhelm, I'll be happy about that. Speaking of the devil. Yeah. Alright, well maybe we can get a flip this turn. I don't think this is going to go how we want, but might get a flip. So how much is this? The Rockhopper won't deal anything, right? It's going to dot a tally of circles. We have the option to like Sigil of Malice, something. I don't really want to give him the Endless Devout, but I think we need to deal the damages here. Like, that's pretty free. Where does that get us? 16, and we're dealing 5. That could be up to 21. Oh, that would get us up to 25. We do lose the Herald this way, but what if we come in and now Sigil of Malice, the Endless Devout? I think this is okay. He's already played Talia, so he can't copy the Sarcophagus. Let's see where this gets us. And it feels like he's going to play a combat trick here. He can't Absolver kill us with Talia, so that's okay. But like him attacking with the Rockhopper makes it feel like he's going to play a combat trick on us. Which, I mean, kind of is what it is. We have to have something go right here. If we just get boomed completely across this board, we're never winning the game. But wish you could see where Sivir would get. Uh-huh. Yep. So we're doing 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. It's going to get her to 28. We should have just blocked with Sivir, right? We should have blocked the Rockhopper with Sivir and then put the... Well... I mean, this is still a decent turn here, even... well, I guess this does work out, right? We get to hook Talia with Sivir. She boosts all of the units to her, right? We're just a little farther away from lethal than we'd like to be. Okay. It's gonna be gross, isn't it? The things like there shouldn't be too many ways out of this. Like he can't stun her. He just played the Absolver. They usually only play 2 copies, so it's tough to have. Shapestone doesn't get out of this. Might be okay at taking down this Talia. That's where it gets scary, as if he's like, hey, here's my second follow-up Talia. Ground slam. Sure. Alright. So that's not the worst thing that's ever happened to somebody. And then if he follows up with like something big here, there's a non-zero chance that we can just say Rite of the Arcane, the Clockling, and then let the Rockfall Path hit whatever falls. Doesn't seem like that's going to be relevant, but it's a something.
Here I am, there I am.
Just leave Chip. Probably. I'd much rather just take down like the sarcophagus if that's what it comes down to. LeBlanc, the whole squad's here. Okay. That kind of sucks. That kind of sucks. Destroy a mana gem, hit Chip. Now we don't have to block Malphite this turn. He can do the Unstoppable Force. We can follow up with LeBlanc, but he's not a must-block unit. Downside here is we only have... I mean, he's going to get the Sarcophagus next turn, but we only have 9 damage coming in, assuming he blocks Sivir with Malphite. So with that in mind, do we want to put LeBlanc down? Then he can just like choose to hook LeBlanc. I don't really like it. Sure.
Places to go, people to be.
Alright, we gotta draw something cool. We don't have a ton of cool draws here, but we gotta find one of them. Endless Devout. Were you cool? I don't know how cool that was. And Talia. Yeah.
Malphite, you can just call me Talia.
It's Talia, not Talia. So let's see here. Let's see. No, I don't think this is going to work out. Okay. Down to 4 and 3. Unfortunate. Fortunate.
Fee just went up.
Okay. There it goes. This was it. This was one of my favorite XKCDs. This is the one, try not to make fun of people for admitting they don't know things. And he does the math on people have heard it by the time that they're 30 and the birth rate and everything. And so it comes up that, it's one of today's lucky 10,000. That was it. You can go and enjoy that one on your own. I couldn't remember that one, and I was trying to play games at the same time. Oh, it's one of the delightful ones. I had a college professor that really hammered that home to us as well. As you think you're a big know-it-all freshman coming right out of high school, and then if you want to go, say, learn about history, and you focus all of your time and energy to learn about history, you get a really good in-depth history education in college. You make your way to master's land, you get your master's in, I don't know, the Civil War, and then you eventually come together and put together your doctorate on some random general no one's ever heard of in the middle of the Civil War. You imagine how much knowledge that person has about one very specific topic, and then say, like, man, I wonder how much a doctor knows, right? if this one person can focus in and learn like tomes and tomes and tomes of knowledge on this random American Civil War general that nobody's ever heard of, how much does a doctor know that studies heart surgery or whatever? It's pretty fascinating concept. But anyways, back to the Runeterra. We're playing against the Echo Zillion deck that I love to talk trash about. This deck is no good. This deck is complete garbage. I think Mage and Bay posted a video on it a couple days ago. I've been seeing a lot of chit chat on it on the various discords. There was a bit of chit chat about it on the Runeterra subreddit. We'd seen this deck like running around for a few months now, and it is bad. I'll just go ahead and lay it out there. We pulled up the win rates in the previous video. It beats like has a positive win rate against like one deck, and that's it. You know, and so why people like to play this so much, I don't know, but it's one of the things that I used to really like put together in terms of Magic was before like I played Magic, you know, before there was streaming, before there were YouTube videos, before that people really had to prove that they weren't a dipshit and they knew what they were talking about. And so, you know, in large part, if you'd had some kind of success at a tournament people have heard of, you're able to start generating content and getting paid for it. And you had to have like a real eye for this stuff as to where people would try to tout like a deck as the next big thing, and you could look into it, and all of their information they were presenting was, you know, pretty speculative. You could tell that they hadn't got like a ton of experience and a ton of reps in with the deck. And you know, back in this time when there just wasn't as much information running around, you had to really weed out the people that were knowledgeable and informative, and the people that had put in a bunch of work with the deck, as opposed to the people that were just getting their weekly word count to get their paycheck from Star City. And I think there's, you know, a bit of that going on with this deck. I don't think it's particularly good. I think that there's a bunch of people playing it because Mage and Bay was playing it in a video, and it is garbage. Now, granted, I didn't watch his video. He may have he may have been saying the same things that we're saying, that this deck is just trash. But I doubt that it. I doubt that it completely went about that way. Okay. This is gonna be a protective spell onto Sivir. We're gonna Ancient Hourglass her here. Well, he's not doing enough yet. I guess there's gonna be a Quicksand coming in. The Absolver. Okay.
Real good to see you.
Are we doing enough damage to flip her? No, we're way far away from that. I was like, did he just play the Absolver and we're just gonna flip onto him? That'd be pretty choice. All right. He's looking to play his second Absolver somewhere. I mean, non-zero chance he plays it on the Chronomancer or something, but sure. That's kind of dangerous for a deck like this if they're going to be playing, you know, physical predict cards. Good chance that doesn't do a ton. Why should she come back so small? You gotta wait on the Scrying Sands to fall off? Okay. What are we gonna do with this? We can overwrite the Naturalist, or I mean just block with the Naturalist. I don't want to take like tons of damage here, because if they have some of those stupid Echo cards, I don't want the bigger like rally attack to be coming through. So, but we're only going to be adding 2 units to the board this turn. We're going to be playing Rockhopper and LeBlanc. Let's just take it. And then hopefully we can chunk in enough damage next turn to just get the kills with these ricochets. You playing the units, boss? I appreciate it. Thank you. Unfortunate we can't deliver the Overwhelm just yet, but it is what it is. Even if we draw one, we wouldn't be able to destroy it. Now, where does our LeBlanc? She needs to see 15 damage, 5. She can flip after. Do it like this. Get back here, LeBlanc. You, and then you. Take the quick attack challenge onto this thing. Okay. Now, we might have done this like a little bit better. We can put a Whirling Death somewhere to help get a flip down here with Sivir, but we'll see. Let him play some cards before we do that stuff. At least it feels pretty good that she's not getting interacted with here. We definitely want the Sivir to stay on the board this turn so that we can try to and kill with these ricochets. So who do we send in? with the Whirling Death. I think we'll want to just use the Restored Devout. You can't Mystic Shot a Restored Devout, right? He can play a variety of cards to weaken it. He can Quicksand it down to 1, or he can do some stuff. But the Mystic Shot's the big one I'm worried about here. I don't want to be striking with LeBlanc and then the Mystic Shot just taking her down. All right, he's got something for us.
Now, what could you be plotting?
I don't feel like it's going to be particularly good, or they would just snapped it off. But, I mean, he's already played 2 Scrying Sands. He just Quicksanded Sivir. They can't have, like, too many options left. Rite of Negation, sure. So we just killed all of his units. That feels pretty nice as we're about to start dropping ricochets.
Blood or gold? I always get my share.
Alright, takes him to 4. How much did we overstrike that thing for? 3? We could have hooked the dum-dum there with the rock hopper, then punched in LeBlanc damage, but you don't get as many style points that way. That's what it's all about, right? What? I thought aren't these ephemeral? The fuck happened there? Why aren't these ephemeral? Huh, well, I was gonna say he's at least got to be attacking with Echo. Let's see if he does some stuff and lets us take some damages down onto his smaller units. Not gonna let us do it. That's fine.
I see you.
So this just got lame. I was really excited about dropping these ricochets, but they do not seem as good anymore. So maybe that was our problem. We could have hooked in the Archivist over on the Rockhopper. He would have just blocked the LeBlanc, right? We might have gotten in for 1 more point of damage. I think, man, it's so tough to want to drop these ricochets, though. Let's just pass. We might end up losing this one. This is looking pretty bad now. Here's the option. The opportunity has presented itself to deploy the damages. Alright, so how bad is it? Let's not block with Sivir, let's block with LeBlanc. Who wants to wager a guess as to if we win it right now? I think he's going to have another Chrono Break on us. I don't know how that card completely works, but... Like, does it shuffle 3 into his deck? So non-zero chance that he has one right now, but... Just end it. Just end it. Suck it. We hit with 4 of those. Oh, that's the stuff right there. God, I hate that deck so much. I don't hate it as much as the Sundisk deck. Like, the Sundisk deck sucks just because you get stuck watching that, like, 45 seconds of animation and it's not particularly interactive, but man... I really hate playing against predicts, and that guy, no like negatives to him. He predicted reasonably quick, but I'll most certainly run into people that are trying to be the world's greatest life coach and just like think and take like the full amount of time on every predict, and it just fucking sucks playing against those people, and it makes it a lot of not fun for me. And so I don't hate predict as a mechanic. I think it's pretty good to have it in small quantities. I just really hate that there's champions like Zillion and like Echo to where their whole kit is developed around the non-interactive time sync that is predict. I really just don't like it as a mechanic in those terms. And so if you wanna see a rework for me, just go and rework Zillion and Echo, and I'll feel a little bit better about that as opposed to the LeBlanc and the Sivir. But hey, not a bad run at it today. We took the LeBlanc Sivir to 5-3. I was expecting this to be a pretty bad one, but we carried this along pretty far. We didn't run into a single mystic shot on our LeBlanc, and things went pretty okay. And so, in terms of a real deck these days, I don't know. There's not a whole lot to it for the next couple of weeks. If you really want to be playing this Desert Naturalist Endless Devout combo, you're going to be much better served to just either play the Sundisk deck, or if you like to be aggro, just playing Talia Ziggs. Talia Ziggs is incredibly, incredibly strong and manages these interactions a little bit better than we do here, right? And that's not to say that this wouldn't be a real deck in the future. I am really kind of interested to see if LeBlanc hangs on to Reputation and how they continue to support Reputation in the future, because I think it is like an interesting enough mechanic, and everything with Reputation doesn't have to be like this dude where the cost is goes to 6. It's 2 less. Sigil of Malice costs 2 less. Like essentially across the board on all of the Reputation cards, they just say it goes 2 less. But there is like a lot of design space in the future for Reputation to make it do different things. I mean, you can say if you have Reputation, draw a card. If you have Reputation, get a bonus. If you have Reputation, do this. If you have Reputation, do that. It doesn't have to be specifically limited to -2 cost. And so, I think that's interesting, and I kind of have like a hope and dream. If the intern needs to send it up the flagpole, then sure. But I kind of feel like what Riot wants to do in terms of the new sets is really focus in on one theme and like one keyword and one mechanic, and then just run with it. And then that set, say you're gonna put out 60 cards in a set, maybe the keyword gets to appear across some of the cards, and you revisit some of the older stuff across some of the cards, but they get out of this thing as to where we design one really big set, and then we release it in small chunks, and they get to focus in on champions or mechanics or something. And so I could most certainly see Riot doing the mid lane set and the mages set and the new mechanic set, and not specifically just releasing like all of the 10 factions all at once, but coming up with something kind of thematic and a group of champions and a group of factions and a group of abilities, and releasing a big chunk of that shit for the year. And so interested to see what they do. But yeah, in terms of the actual Reputation deck itself, it's not worth chasing after. We weren't using too much of it here, but just not too much of it even exists. And so I guess we could have tried to play the action plus LeBlanc mirror image combo, but not today. But yeah, otherwise, I had a lot of fun with this one. It is pretty reminiscent of a lot of our time in Expedition. I really loved drafting LeBlanc, all the LeBlanc decks, getting really aggressive quick attack challenges happening with LeBlancs. It was one of these archetypes to where we would talk specifically about dodging factions. And so you would draft LeBlanc in pack 1 and hard ignore Shurima in pack 2, just so that you would not see the Shurima packs diluting the rest of your draft whenever Reputation came up. So Reputation would come up, you did not want to see Shurima cards, so you would not take a Shurima champion as your second champion. It goes quite against the kind of, hey, build around this stuff idea, get the Sivir, get the LeBlanc, do all this Rock Bear shit. Just, breaks clean from that and really focuses on LeBlanc. And so there was a lot of interesting things in Expedition that people didn't really get to deal with because they never played it. But we had a good time with it. I'm glad we got to play with LeBlanc before her update is gone and new, and this classic version is just in our memories. And so that is going to do it for us today. I hope everyone increased your reputation just a little bit, maybe learned a thing or two along the way, and had a good time watching. This is Bust, and we thank you for being here.